Good afternoon, everyone. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk for tornadoes and very severe winds. We're going to be breaking everything down about the severe weather outbreak inside this video. Whether you will be impacted or not and what you will be impacted by, we'll be breaking down everything inside this video. Let's start off by looking at today's weather. So I'm looking at around 1 p.m. This is when I'm making this video, Central Daylight Time. As you can see, we have a slight risk for severe storms today, reaching from Texas all the way up there, even to into Minnesota. This is where you could see some storms throughout, mainly tonight in the overnight hours. This is what's going to start the severe weather outbreak into this evening. This is when the storms are going to fire here. Again, slight risk. That's really going to be the main threat for damaging winds, possibly tornadoes, mainly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area into Oklahoma. All of that yellow area, though, is going to see some very damaging winds here throughout tonight. We're looking at the future. We're looking at the radar currently, and as you can see, not a lot going on. We're seeing some snow showers there in the Rocky Mountains. We're seeing some rainfall over here in the North Dakota. We're seeing, again, rainfall over here and now around the Dallas area. Look at this very widespread rainfall that has been going on through the morning across the Dallas area. It's pretty much just kind of clustered rain showers that's going to continue here throughout the afternoon. You're seeing rain showers over here across portions of Missouri and then into Illinois there. Even some lake effect snow here going on in New York and Pennsylvania. And they're really not that much, though, as you can see there. We do have a very significant threat here for wildfires here across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. We also have, again, this is going to be around, there is going to be an extreme risk in the red for wildfires. So do not burn anything today if you live in the Panhandle of Texas, Panhandle, Oklahoma. Even in those orange areas, do not burn anything today because there's going to be an extreme risk and possibly an outbreak of wildfires throughout today and even tomorrow, especially here in southern Texas. You also have a decent threat for wildfires over there across the East Coast. You have an elevated risk for wildfires from Georgia even into Ohio and Indiana. Again, don't try to burn anything. Don't throw anything that can catch fire into dried up crops or anything like that. Even dry grass, do not throw anything at fire because those are going to definitely catch fire. Let's go ahead here and look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for day 2, which is tomorrow. This is the tomorrow's outlook for severe weather, and we do have a level 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. We saw this about a week ago, and there was definitely some major tornadoes, especially in the New Orleans area. This is pretty much the same exact area, but a little more extended up northward. As you can see, this is a very large area of significant severe weather expected. The whole state of Mississippi is going to be in that moderate risk. Portions of western Tennessee, portions of western Alabama, portions of northeastern and southeastern Louisiana, and even portions of the eastern state of Arkansas, also the Panhandle of Florida. You could see a significant risk for severe storms for tomorrow. You have a major tornado threat. A possible tornado outbreak is going to be expected here for the 15% and 10% regions. So we have a significant chance for EF2 to EF5 tornadoes throughout tomorrow. Again, folks, 5% and 2% risks. You still have a chance for tornadoes throughout those storms. This line of storms is going to be reaching all the way from Louisiana, even into northern Illinois. This is going to be a very large storm system that's going to bring very damaging winds, possibly significant tornadoes, and hail threat is not really existing as of this time. We only have a 5% chance for hail, so maybe some small hail, mainly in the southern portion of the system, but otherwise anywhere north of Tennessee, likely no hail for you. Here's a day 3 outlook. We do have a slight risk for severe storms in 2 of the areas. And the southern one is going to be for the leftover storms, and the slight risk is going to be for another system that's going to be developing the more storms throughout Thursday. If you want to see the snow portion of this storm, if you are going to be impacted by mainly the snow, if you want the details on that, watch the last video. Watch the last video that I did make, which was yesterday. We did go over the details on that. Overall, it's not going to be a very widespread snowstorm, and there's going to be very minimal impacts. But again, there's going to be some areas which will see definite impacts from that winter storm. So go back to the last video if you want those details. Not today's video is going to be mainly focused on the significant severe weather. As you can see, this is going to be 5 p.m. of today, and there is still not a bunch of going on, but we're definitely seeing that snow starting over there in the Dakotas and Nebraska. Let's go ahead and move forward here. As you can see, there's definite thunderstorms popping up there in Iowa. Also, northwestern Iowa, you're starting to see some storms there, and possibly a line of storms as you head into around 12 a.m. Look at those lines of storms definitely developing here in Oklahoma, Texas. It's going to be 2 a.m., so very late night hours. You're going to see likely a decent tornado threat from this, but mainly those damaging winds and possibly some hail. As you can see, that heads into Missouri and Arkansas around 12 a.m. of tomorrow. This now heads into Illinois and also portions of Louisiana by around the lunchtime hours of tomorrow. As you can see, this is now heading into Alabama, Mississippi by the 1 p.m. hour. So 1 p.m. this is likely when you're going to see the storms here if you do live in Mississippi and also southeastern Louisiana. These embedded supercells are going to be in the mainly the Mississippi and Louisiana part of this line, but they're still definitely going to be possible here in Tennessee. They did extend the moderate risk more north to Tennessee, mainly for that damaging wind threat. Again, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds is going to be within this line of storms. Also, again, significant tornadoes, EF2 to EF5 tornadoes is going to be possible inside this storm. It's going to be a very dangerous, but thankfully it's not going to be going throughout the overnight hours like tonight's storm. It's going to be mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, so you will be able to get to shelter much quickly than in the overnight hours. As you head here throughout the evening hours now, so it's going to be 5 p.m. Suns is still going to be up here, so you will be able to still see these storms coming by then if you do live in Alabama. It's going to be 6 p.m. so sun again is still going to be up here, and you're still going to see these storms coming. If you do live in Mississippi, Alabama, eastern Mississippi, these storms are going to be hitting you by 6 p.m. Also in around the Nashville area, 6 p.m. you're going to see these storms hit you, and by around 6 p.m. by around 8 p.m. here, pretty much all of Mississippi is going to be in the clear for the rest of the night. As you can see, those storms are now in Alabama, the central portion of Alabama, by around 10 p.m. So we're now getting into the late night hours. Atlantic Georgia, you're going to see these storms, but they're not going to be as severe as they were back into Mississippi. You're definitely going to see some lightning with those. You're definitely going to see some heavy rain with those. Also, again, Alabama, southeastern Alabama, is going to be 1 a.m. And those storms are definitely going to be quite severe, as you have a moderate risk there in the Panhandle of Florida. You're definitely going to have a significant risk again for damaging winds and tornadoes still by 1 a.m. in the Panhandle of Florida. The threat is not going to be over by then, so you want to be awake by around 3 a.m. Make sure those storms are not producing tornadoes. In other words, you're going to be in the clear by 6 a.m. There is definitely a chance for long track tornadoes, but due to this being a massive line of storms and there not being a lot of chance for embedded supercells, I do think there is definitely going to be some sort of long track tornadoes within, but mostly they're going to be definitely not super long track, because again, a long line of storms is not really the dream storm to produce a long track tornado. A line of storms typically produces brief, maybe even strong tornadoes, but this time there's a lot of shear that's going to be ahead of this line of storms. We're looking at updraft helicity swaths, and as you can see, I do think there's going to be a definite hotspot, especially in western Alabama. And look at those helicity swaths in northwestern Alabama. There's a lot of those swaths, and they are definitely looking a little bit strong, a little bit on the strong side, which means I do think my tornado hotspot for Wednesday is going to be in western Alabama, pretty much the whole western portion of Alabama. I do think that's going to be the tornado hotspot. And that's going to be hitting the evening hours. So definitely, if you be on the lookout, if you do live in Alabama, I do think that's going to be when those storms are starting to cluster up. And that's going to give it a chance for those supercells to really pop up and maybe produce some long track tornadoes, especially in northwestern Alabama. But again, the whole state of western Alabama is going to have a definite chance for tornadoes. As that line of storms is kind of recycling, it's going to give a really good chance for those tornadoes. And again, Mississippi is going to have a big chance with tornadoes, especially look at here down the swath around southern Mississippi. There's definitely that pocket of chances for those long track tornadoes, definite strong tornadoes, is going to be possible throughout tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow with live coverage of this entire event. Make sure you do stay tuned to that. There will be a scheduled live stream, and like that stream, it'll help get that information out to those who need it most in these tornado situations. But as always, stay safe. Also, share this video with any friends or family that may live in these areas. That again, these are going to be some very major storms. So share this with any friends or family that may live in these areas and get this information out to them. But as always, stay safe.